I mean, social media was a light. Beyonce's next, Jay-Z's next, all the people in Inner Circle is next.
Yeah, and the problem is there are just so many pictures of the two of them partying together, and he clearly was at a lot of Diddy parties.
The entertainment world is buzzing with whispers, and this time, the heat isn't just on Diddy. What started as a high-profile trial packed with bombshell testimonies and leaked court documents has spiraled into a sprawling scandal implicating some of the biggest names in music. At the center of the storm, Beyoncé and Jay-Z, a couple whose public image has long been untouchable, but who now find themselves tangled in a web messier and darker than anyone expected. Rumors, secret tapes, and mounting federal investigations suggest that the power couple might not only be entangled in the fallout, but could be among the next targets facing serious legal jeopardy. Sources close to the investigation say Beyoncé has already canceled several upcoming tour dates, and there's chatter about her and Jay-Z possibly planning a strategic exit from the country. This isn't about an ordinary vacation. It's a move to escape mounting pressure and potential legal action. Whispers of pulling a Russell Simmons by disappearing to a country with no extradition treaty are growing louder. The Diddy trial, the spark that ignited the fire. Everything began to heat up when the trial against Sean Diddy Combs gained traction. The courtroom was rocked by dramatic testimonies, leaked recordings, and revealing court documents that exposed Hollywood's shadowy underbelly. While much of the initial focus was on Diddy, insiders soon realized the implications went far beyond one man. Federal prosecutors are allegedly preparing to implicate some of Diddy's closest associates, people whose names carry significant weight in the industry. And right at the top of that list are Beyoncé and Jay-Z. Unlike before, when Jay-Z seemed distant from Diddy's notorious party scene, the narrative has shifted dramatically. Sources now claim Jay-Z is did up, meaning he is laying low, doing nothing publicly, and Beyoncé is deeply involved, not as a passive observer, but as an active participant. Beyoncé's sudden silence and strategic moves. The once tireless performer has reportedly pulled back significantly. Multiple insiders confirm Beyoncé has canceled important tour dates, signaling more than just routine scheduling changes. Rumors are swirling that she and Jay-Z are seriously contemplating fleeing the country. It's said they're eyeing places where extradition to the United States is impossible, a tactic seen before when high-profile figures sought to avoid prosecution. This move signals a serious attempt to evade not only media scrutiny, but potential criminal charges. For years, Beyoncé was perceived as separate from the chaotic lifestyle surrounding Diddy's parties and controversies, but now it appears she was more involved than anyone guessed. Jay-Z's inner circle ties to Diddy. Jay-Z's relationship with Diddy has always been close, deeply intertwined, and far from casual. Jay was reportedly one of only two people allowed to call Diddy by his real name, Sean Combs, the other being Diddy's own mother. This kind of familiarity indicates a bond beyond mere friendship. It places Jay-Z firmly inside Diddy's inner circle. Publicly, Jay-Z and Beyoncé regularly hosted Diddy at their annual Rock Nation brunch, one of the industry's most exclusive events. Their alliance was well known and celebrated. However, after the scandal involving Cassie Ventura surfaced, Diddy was abruptly cut off from the spotlight by those who had once championed him, including Jay-Z and Beyoncé. Yet, the sudden distancing only fueled speculation rather than quelling it. Exclusive parties and shifting dynamics. One story that stirred the rumor mill came from rapper 2Baby, who claimed he attended a private party at Diddy's Los Angeles estate back in 2020. According to him, Jay-Z and Beyoncé were both present, mingling with a handful of elite guests. The party was described as intimate, but charged with an unmistakable freak-off vibe. a term street culture uses to describe wild, uninhibited, sometimes sinister behavior. This revelation shattered the idea that Beyoncé was merely an outsider caught in the crossfire. Instead, it suggested she was complicit and familiar with the darker aspects of this lifestyle. Jay-Z's troubling past comes under scrutiny. As attention focuses more on Jay-Z, uncomfortable truths from his past have begun to resurface with renewed intensity. Years ago, rumors swirled about a relationship between Jay-Z and rapper Foxy Brown when she was just 15 years old. Though Jay-Z has fought hard to deny and rewrite this narrative, the story has never entirely disappeared. In a telling moment, Jay-Z's former business partner, Dame Dash, refused to outright deny the allegations during an interview. So uneasy was Dame that he deflected questions and suggested the interviewer ask Jay-Z directly, avoiding confirming anything on camera. This uneasy silence has only fueled suspicions. Moreover, Jay-Z's long-standing collaboration with R. Kelly, a figure now widely regarded as a predatory monster, has added another layer of suspicion. Jay-Z and R. Kelly released an entire album together and toured, a partnership many now see in a sinister light. When Dame Dash explained why he distanced himself from Jay-Z, he explicitly cited Jay-Z's refusal to distance himself from R. Kelly. This steadfast loyalty to controversial figures paints a disturbing pattern. Beyoncé and Jay-Z, power couple or business partners? For over 2 decades, Beyoncé and Jay-Z have stood as an iconic symbol of success, influence, and artistic mastery, a power couple reigning supreme over the worlds of music, fashion, and culture. Their appearances at red carpet events, their carefully crafted social media posts, and the perfectly synchronized statements they release have painted a picture of flawless unity and mutual respect. They seemed untouchable, the royal couple of hip-hop and pop, a beacon of ambition and glamour. Yet, beneath this polished surface lies a far more complex and troubling story. Those closest to the situation describe their relationship as less of a romantic partnership and more of a strategic business alliance forged to protect interests and maintain control. The narrative that has emerged suggests that their relationship dynamic is transactional, with power and influence at its core. Jay-Z has long been known for his pattern of forming relationships with younger, talented women just stepping into the industry. Women who are impressionable, hungry for success, and still finding their footing. Beyoncé, according to insiders, fit this pattern precisely when they first crossed paths. She was young, exceptionally gifted, and had little personal life outside of her music career, making her vulnerable to the influence of someone as powerful as Jay-Z. The uneasy beginnings. Beyoncé's early years and Jay-Z's control. Beyoncé's upbringing was tightly controlled, with her mother, Tina Knowles, playing a pivotal role in guiding her career path from an early age. Her personal life was largely sheltered and restricted. Unlike many young celebrities who experienced some degree of typical adolescent freedom, Beyoncé reportedly had minimal dating experience before entering the music industry, and her public image was meticulously curated from the beginning. Jay-Z reportedly first met Beyoncé when she was just 16 years old. Although he claimed to have waited until she was 18 to pursue a relationship, those close to Beyoncé say that by the time she was legally an adult, Jay-Z had already gained significant control over her life. She looked up to him, viewing him as a gatekeeper, someone whose approval was essential for success in the cutthroat music business. This admiration, combined with his immense power and resources, created a deeply unequal relationship. Sources suggest Jay-Z exerted control over much more than just Beyoncé's career. He influenced her music direction, managed her public image, dictated her schedule, and, most alarmingly, had a strong hand in her personal freedoms. This dynamic was far from a typical love story. It was a calculated power play masked as mentorship and romance. Allegations from Beyoncé's former bodyguard, the role of control and addiction. Perhaps one of the most alarming revelations comes from Beyoncé's former bodyguard, known as Uncle Ron, who has recently gone viral for sharing insider information that sheds light on the darker side of the relationship. Uncle Ron alleges that Jay-Z introduced Beyoncé to various substances, fostering dependency as a means to keep her compliant and manageable. This revelation echoes disturbing allegations made by Cassie Ventura against Sean Diddy Combs, where manipulation through addiction was reportedly used to exert control over vulnerable women. According to Uncle Ron, Jay-Z's alleged method involved keeping Beyoncé dependent, thereby ensuring she would not question or challenge the constraints imposed on her by him or the surrounding team. Friends and insiders report that Beyoncé has struggled for years with this toxic environment, battling not only external pressures, but also internal struggles with mental health and autonomy. The use of substances to maintain control is a grim reflection of a much larger, systemic problem within certain circles of the entertainment industry, where power dynamics are weaponized to exploit talent rather than nurture it. The breaking point: Beyoncé's mental health and desperation. Multiple sources close to Beyoncé have painted a picture of a woman who has quietly endured years of emotional distress and depression. Despite her global success and adoration, she reportedly feels trapped, a prisoner of the very empire she helped build. Beyoncé's life, some say, has been molded from the beginning into a brand and persona dictated by others, including her family, Jay-Z, and their management teams. The cost of this carefully constructed image is a personal life devoid of freedom or authenticity. Whispers within her inner circle suggest that Beyoncé has reached a breaking point. Some insiders have even reported that she has contemplated ending her life, not out of a desire to die, but because she felt utterly hopeless and suffocated by the lack of a viable escape route. The mounting legal pressures and the intensifying investigation have only compounded her sense of desperation, forcing her to consider drastic measures to regain control and freedom. The shifting public perception and the vanishing of the Rock Nation brunch. For years, the annual Rock Nation brunch was a celebrated event, a glamorous, invite-only affair hosted by Beyoncé and Jay-Z that symbolized their power and influence. It was a major networking event where celebrities, business moguls, and artists gathered to celebrate success and forge alliances. The couple would post frequent highlights from these events, fueling anticipation and envy among fans and industry insiders alike. But in the wake of the escalating scandal surrounding Sean Diddy Combs, the Rock Nation brunch vanished without explanation. No public announcement was made, and the social media silence surrounding the event and its hosts has been deafening. This sudden disappearance has left fans and insiders speculating wildly. Many interpret this silence as a deliberate effort by Beyoncé and Jay-Z to fly under the radar and avoid public scrutiny. The absence of the brunch, once a staple of their public persona, signals that something far more serious is brewing behind closed doors. Financial maneuvers, preparing for the exit. Industry insiders claim that Beyoncé has been quietly preparing for an exit strategy, one that involves consolidating her financial resources and securing her independence. Reports detail how she has been renegotiating contracts, pulling out of endorsements, and canceling tour dates. Contrary to public speculation about declining ticket sales, these moves are strategic, aimed at stockpiling wealth before cutting ties. Rumors of a possible divorce have circulated for some time, with speculation that Beyoncé plans to finalize the separation only after securing her financial future. However, recent whispers suggest a shift in this plan. Instead of a clean break, the couple may be plotting a joint escape, possibly fleeing the country together to avoid the mounting legal threats. Cracks in the empire. The collapse of untouchable images. For years, Jay-Z was celebrated as the savvy businessman, the reformed hustler who became a billionaire mogul. Beyoncé was the goddess of music, flawless, untouchable, and an emblem of power and grace. Together, they projected an image of perfection that inspired millions. But now, cracks are appearing in this carefully constructed facade. Behind the scenes, control, manipulation, and obsessive image management have defined their empire as much as talent and artistry. The public is starting to see beyond the glitz and glam, uncovering a narrative far darker and more complicated. Conclusion: the empire on the brink. What once seemed like an unshakable empire built on talent, influence, and calculated silence is now on the verge of collapse. The forces of truth, justice, and public scrutiny are closing in, and Beyoncé and Jay-Z's desperate attempts to vanish reflect the fragility of their reign. The central question remains: will they succeed in slipping away from the storm, or will the truth catch up to them before they disappear for good?